Hi and welcome to a new video. My name is Herwig and today we talk about how to prevent plastic part failure with effective material selection. I would like to start with the reason of plastic part failure. So we can put the failure into 5 major categories. First, we have environmental influence on the plastic part, which leads to its failure. Then we have thermal. Thermal can be ice, so negative temperature impact, as well as high temperatures, which lead to deformation of the part. Then we have chemicals. All kinds of chemicals can affect the composition of the polymer, attack the bonds, and lead to material degradation. And also mechanical failure, that the modulus of the material is not strong enough to lift certain mechanical requirements. And the fifth is time. So combination environmental and thermal over time can lead to part failure. So this is always to keep in mind. And Mr. David Wright made a study where he investigated the failure of over 5,000 plastic parts, and he put them into 2 major categories. So the first category is the phenomenological causes of failure, and here the failure is attributed to a physical mechanism, and this is shown here now, the parts analyzed, and we can see that environmental stress cracking is a 30% the biggest reason of plastic part failure, followed by dynamic fatigue and static notch fracture. There are also several other, like creep, relaxation, chemical attack, UV attack. And this is the phenomenological cause. And the second is the human viewpoint. So he put all this plastic failure in a human context, where human-related decision-making, the execution led to a part failure. And when we look here now in the categories, we see that with 45% material misselection and poor specification are the biggest share of this cause of failures, followed by poor processing, poor design itself, and the abuse. So when the part was wrongly used. And these failures have big consequences. They can lead to additional costs to the liability issues. So there is the main mission to increase really the product quality of your part to get away the liability issues. It leads also to damage customer relationships and also, after all, brand reputation and a loss of lots of money. So when we look now at all these failures, we see that polymer material selection is a major key to prevent failure. And polymer material selection is one of the most challenging topics because we have over 100 generic families of plastics alone. And when we add additives, fibers, compounding, blending, we will increase this 100 even up to 1,000 sub-generic plastic types. And this results in 20 to 30,000 name grades, which is covered by around 500 suppliers. So that the total number of plastic grades is not known, but is in this range, 20 to 30,000. And when we add up now the 2 factors, material misselection as cause of failure with 45%, and this huge diversity of plastics, you see immediately this is a challenge for even experienced people to find the optimal polymer material for the application. And therefore, systematic material selection is one of the major key to prevent material failure, to part failure. And I created the Polymer Selection Funnel, which is my framework for material selection process. And this I want to show you now in this next slides. The polymer selection funnel has 4 major funnel steps. And before we start with the first funnel step, it's always the information gathering phase. Because in material selection, preparation is the be-all and the end-all. And you try to get as many data as possible about already the part itself, environmental data, and so on. Because this is what we need then for the first funnel step. This is the so-called material selection factor phase, where we define the material selection factors. This is the major aim in this phase. So we map out the true part, function, and material requirements. And then we translate these requirements into material selection factors. And for that, we need to understand the application, what are the needed code specification, what are the environmental impacts, and what are the structural properties needed. Then in the second funnel step, we have to decide which is the most suitable polymer chemistry to fulfill all these requirements. So we have to decide to go with a thermoplastic or with a thermoset resin. And for example, when we decided for a thermoplastic, we have to further decide if we go with amorphous or with a semi-crystalline material or with both. So by the end, you should arrive 2 to 3 materials for the next funnel step. So in the third funnel step, this is what I call the selection discussion with a worksheet. So you can, the main aim is here now to make a ranking of the pre-selected materials and to decide then which one you take for the testing phase. And you can do different ranking mechanisms like tabular comparison or numerical rankings. I created a decision matrix where I rank numerically then the different materials. After this selection discussion, you have only 1 or maximum 2 materials left. And these materials you go and take to the last step. This is the testing, final selection and selection of the vendor. So you want to know how the part alone as a single entity is working, as well how the part works in the whole system. So you have to start from simple tests over to component tests and from prototype in the real world as well as in the virtual world. So also with filling simulation, for example. And then when the discussion and the testing is closed, you can decide this is the material grade to go forward and decide also which vendor should supply this material if you want to go, for example, over distribution or over direct supply. Here's, for example, it's important for the vendor that he has, for example, a broad product portfolio, that you have a good supplier relationship, that there's also good technical support, and also that the supplier has in-house regulatory teams, and it also has a global footprint. This is also important. Okay, now I show you how to learn the best polymer material selection. So for this, I created an online course where we go over the entire selection process. So from how to establish the part requirements, gathering all the data, rank the different polymers, and at the end, how to select also the vendor after you have done the polymer selection. And we use for this the polymer selection funnel, what I showed before, with these 4 funnel steps. And there we cover all these points we briefly discussed. So how to prevent plastic part failure, how to define the material selection factors, how to create a decision matrix, how to set up the prototype, and how to select then the optimal polymer material and the vendor. So there are lots of support material, Excel sheets, PDF checklists to help you really guiding you through all the single funnel steps. There's also free training sections, and I invite you all to check out this free training section and decide for yourself if that is a way for you to learn polymer material selection in a systematic way. As we discussed and as shown before, material misselection and poor specification have a massive impact in plastic part performance and liability in the running application. And therefore, really designing with the material in mind will lead to less failure in the long run. Okay, I would like to thank you for watching the video. Until next time, bye.